can't just use the little...
No.
Good job.
Can I be here? It's amazing how much cats think is their toy. I spent such a long time trying to frame this. What am I gonna do? There's Ivy. Okay. Sure. What looks worse, hair up or hair down? So what I wanted to do is make myself a little checklist for tomorrow. Alright, so how's this? Oh, you can't. It's these hairs. Wednesday. On Thursday, we have a dentist appointment. I've been trying to floss a bit more the past week. Not that it, makes up for anything. So I hadn't been to, last time I went to a dentist was about a year ago. We had to postpone it several times. So we missed our last 6-month mark, and so this is where we be. And I hadn't been to the dentist in about 10 years. I didn't have any insurance, so I couldn't go. And so the technician, or what do they call them? Because they call it vet techs. The hygienist? The lady who cleaned my teeth, when I told her that it had been 10 years, at first she was like, but then apparently my teeth were actually okay. She said she was very, well, she didn't say she was very surprised. She said that for 10 years, they're pretty good. So I'm not too concerned. But let's see, tomorrow I need to unload the dishwasher. Ivy, why do you want to chew on that? It's metal. Unload the dishwasher, load the dishwasher, scoop litter boxes, And then we have this drawer in the bathroom that's supposed to be kind of our most commonly used. Like, it's got my husband's small razor, electric razor in there that I use when I cut his hair. The mirror in it, my hairbrush, comb, and it's supposed to be things like that. But because, you know, we're in the upstairs, the kittens stay up here at night. We still keep Pocky and Poe downstairs, and then the kittens, even though they're not quite kittens anymore, Ivy and Felix stay up here. And so the upstairs bathroom is a station for them. And so, especially as medicine has come into the picture lately, though fortunately not at the moment, and so there's like the remains of Felix's one medicine bottle, there's like a bag of catnip in there and stuff like that. And it's getting really crowded, and so I want to go through that and get rid of some of the things. I'm assuming that you can take cat medicine to, like at CVS, they have a prescription pharmaceutical drop-off recycling thing. I'm assuming that you can also take pet medication there. But anyway, go through bathroom drawer. I'll know what I mean. I think we're due for a dust. At least downstairs. Dust, downstairs. Alright, I feel like these things are kind of my priorities, and if I do these things, these are good things to have done. I mean, dishes and laundry are kind of, aren't they always the ones? And then, you know, that's kind of like the basic set of chores to do. So we're gonna leave it with that. Now, let's see. So this is for my YouTube and creative planning. So I did Danger on Deception Island Part 3. I still didn't do the Taylor Swift video that I wanted to do. I should. I just need to bite the bullet. I always have to psych myself up to talk. To talk when I have like a purpose. Like I'm trying to prove something. Hello, Felix. Maybe you can help me. So, I technically have 2 Taylor Swift videos that I want to do. I just need to do them. I get so scared, honestly. But that is something that needs to be done. Let's see. I finished writing in this journal, so I need to buy another journal. I've gone through, how many have I gone through? I've been seriously and consistently journaling for over 10 years, I think. So I think I probably have about, not quite 10 journals, but getting close to 10 journals. But anyway, I need a new one. And then I finished reading Gone Girl. I did enjoy it. I read it pretty quickly. I know that it was, so I had finished, let's see, Watership Down on March 12th, and then I finished Gone Girl on March 22nd. I know that I started reading and then I read for several days straight, and then I didn't read for about 2 days, and then I finished reading again. So, but the whole thing took me about 10 days. So it's a fairly easy read, as, you know, like it's not, when I say that it's not complex, I mean that it's grammatically and, like I said before, just like language-wise, it's easy to digest. You know, content-wise, it's sort of rough to digest, but I think I had a bit more of an objective lens the way that I was reading it. So, you know, I mean, if you've read it, you know what's in it. But if you haven't, I mean, there's a lot of cursing, and there isn't as much violence as they show in the movie. And then I rewatched the movie a few days ago just to compare it, because again, I'd already seen the movie, and then I wanted to rewatch it after I finished the book. And so they show more of the violence in the movie, I guess to make it more exciting. But there's always just this sort of like disturbing and violent undercurrent, even if actual violence isn't being portrayed in the scene. Because like, if you haven't read it, I'll read you the first part, and it just sets up a good tone. Like that's when I was saying that I was reading it sort of objectively. I was really trying to pick up on how, is it Gillian or Jillian? I don't know. Gillian Flynn, how she sets tone and pacing and structure and different voices, and how things are conveyed without actually having to say them outright. And so the first paragraph is, when I think of my wife, I always think of her head, which isn't a violent thing to say, but it's very anatomical. So it becomes like a bit more visceral. You know, you think of her head, but you know, it's interesting because, you know, it's always, you know, what is she thinking? So the shape of it to begin with, the very first time I saw her, it was the back of the head I saw, and there was something lovely about it, the angles of it, like a shiny hard corn kernel or a riverbed fossil. And so because the book deals with murder, and specifically the narrator, you know, goes back and forth between the husband and wife, and so the husband narrating and even him describing her head as looking like a riverbed fossil, and they live on the Mississippi River, and a fossil is the remains of something that has died. And so it's just, you know, it's not outright said, you know, death and murder and things aren't necessarily being brought into this conversation, but there's just these sort of implications. She had what the Victorians would call a finely shaped head. You could imagine the skull quite easily. And usually we don't think of a skull as being attached to a living person. And different things with head injuries in the skull, and then, you know, thoughts and stuff like that coming into, you know, that's a thread that goes throughout the whole entire book, which is interesting. And so that's the type of stuff that I was trying to pay attention to. I assumed that I was going to like it, and I was prepared to like the book. So I think even if some of the violence, the language, some of the more vulgar elements, if you want to say that, that's not as much my style, but it doesn't necessarily detract from the book. And I think, you know, I mean, it makes sense within the book. Anyway, so I finished that, and now the natural thing to read after reading Gone Girl is I Capture the Castle. This is an old favorite of mine. I have declared it my favorite book, but I haven't read it in a while. I think I've actually only read it twice, maybe 3 times. I first read it when I was 16 or 17. It was like right after my first big breakup. And so if you've read it and you kind of know how it ends, maybe you can understand that when I read it post breakup, I was really invested in knowing how it would end up and being determined that it would end up in the way that I would want it to end up, because you don't exactly know at the end how things are going to go. So I had really liked it. I identify with it in a lot of ways, and even the writing style, I remember when I first read it, it felt very familiar to me. Like her voice felt similar to my voice, and so I identified with that in a lot of ways. I identify with a lot of things about it, so I'm rereading it. It's a very pleasant read. It's a very okay. Oh gosh, the drama. Do you want to come up here? Poe wants to come up here, but Felix is right there. Do you want to come up? Poe's older, so getting up places isn't always easy for her. She can get up here. Actually, why don't you use the trunk? There you go. The question is, where are you going to go that I can go too? Thank you. So, and there's Felix. So anyway, I'm rereading this. It's a much lighter read, and I am enjoying it. Oh, I also wanted to say, so earlier I was referring to this bookmark, which I got from Rustic Pages, which is an online, I think she operates through Etsy, and she does a lot of bookmarks and things that are sort of book oriented, a lot of pretty things. But this one, you know, it looks like I think the library cards, but just like a book list. And so, you know, it's your name, the year, which I didn't read any books last year, so this is covering multiple years, and your goals. And then you can do the date finished, the title, and your rating. Okay. Guess you're not staying. So that's what I've been using to keep track of my books. And I'm trying to read more. I'm not trying to read nothing too complicated. Like, I'm not even sure if I'm ready to do Jane Austen right now, because my brain just isn't functioning. And I want to do Jane Austen. I want to reread. I do want to reread Pride and Prejudice, but that's the one that I've read the most. I think I want to redo Persuasion. I do want to retry Sense and Sensibility. I had tried it as a teenager, and I think that I was really used to the 1995 movie with Emma Thompson. And it's different. It's very different. So I just don't think that I was prepared to make that switch mentally. And I just don't know if I was in shape for it. Reading is a skill, and reading from different eras is a skill. I think you kind of have to learn to read the classics as things get further and further away from the way that you speak and think. It can require a little bit of time and effort and education in order to really understand and appreciate what you're reading. So Pride and Prejudice was easier for me because I had seen the miniseries, and the miniseries follows it pretty closely, and so I was able to basically put all of the dialogue into a scene that I could reference visually. So anyway, I would like to try A Sense and Sensibility again, but it is not that moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to read after I capture the castle, but right now I'm just happy to be reading again. It does feel good. Like, I know there's a lot of emotion and like opinions attached to, there's a lot of moralization attached to reading. I think nowadays it's seen as something you definitely should do more, and I can understand how that can be very sort of condescending or, I don't know, elitist in some ways, but I do think that it's good. I think that there is a unique experience that comes from reading as opposed to watching a movie or even playing a video game, which can be a very in-depth story experience. I do think that reading, it requires your imagination, and it lets you go off on your own mental tangents and really kind of break things down in certain ways. And it's just, I think it's good for you. I think it's good for me. Like, I feel better reading. Like, it genuinely makes me and my brain feel better. Felix, do you need to read? Sometimes he gets the zoomies and he just runs around and then like yells at the walls and stuff. Not sure what he's talking about. So anyway, I'm happy to be reading again. And I'm just kind of trying not to tell myself, oh, you should read this. And instead, I'm just going to tell myself, read what you feel like reading right now. And then I'll build up my reading chops, and then I can say, okay, let's try something a bit more challenging. And there we go. Okay, I think that's it for this current spiel at the moment. I'll see you later. So as you know, we have a couple of things to do today. I know I say that every time, but every time it is true. So last night I think I said, okay, we're gonna unload the dishwasher, we're gonna load a couple of things. There's some stuff in the sink, and then there's those. And then we have to do some tidying in the upstairs bathroom. It's fairly gloomy out, sort of wet, very gray. Well, actually, I was gonna start with this, but I think we're gonna go upstairs. We're gonna go upstairs. Let's go. All right. These are the infamous cans. Right, children? I feel bad, but generally we put them in the bathroom to eat. It's a fairly spacious bathroom, so it's not so bad. Because they get too distracted and they need to eat their wet food. They love their dry food, but they get about their wet food. Sorry, I understand. Don't you want to say hello? Oh, there she is. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at her. She's so gorgeous. Do you see yourself? No, you don't care. So beautiful. Oh, she's so cute. She's like, I don't want to be here. All right. I guess I should have brought something because I want to do this as well. This drawer. Oh, the medicine is gone. All right, so here's some catnip. Lovely. Oh, this thing is still here though. Oh gosh. Some catnip got out, of course. I don't even know if they like catnip all that much. I feel like everything should be removed. Learn how to use a camera. So some of these things are mine. It's all hair oriented mostly. Okay, one thing that I can do, I have this, which has hair oriented things. So I'm just gonna shove it in there. Good organizational tip. that I don't use as much, so I can go up here on the dreaded shelf that nobody likes. The other kind of razor. This is a hairigami, which I couldn't use when I had a longer hair. This was sort of like a gag gift from my friend. I actually don't know what kind of scissors those are. Oil for the whatchamacallit. More scissors. Pieces of the floor and trim that the kittens have picked out of where it should be. It's human hair, cat hair, and catnip. Those are the main offenders of this mess in here. So, okay. That's pretty good. These scissors are in the back, whatever these things are. Mirror. Little extensions for the little razor. Okay. Is it great? No. Is it acceptable? Yes. I don't even know if I like this. Do you guys even like this? Alright. I need to get laundry. Oh, there's a lot of towels. We're just gonna bring the whole thing downstairs. That's how we're gonna do it. Oops, sorry. Did I boop you? I'm sorry. Alright. And I really... The recycling does need to go out, but it's raining and I don't feel like doing it right now. So we'll just make it fit. Oh, come here, Bucky. Oh, there you are. Here you are. I got to show all of you off. Look how beautiful. Alright, you want to get down? Alright. There you go, very good. She already knows to sit. Okay, sit, sit. Turn around. Very good. Paw. Oh, you can't really see she's doing it. Other paw. Good girl. Up. Hey, good girl. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we went through the bathroom drawer, cleaned up the food cans in the bathroom, and we're halfway through with the wash load with the jeans. I need to do that now. This is so much better in my head. Okay, watch the laundry. Ooh, turn it inside out. Children, stop fighting. Hi, Paul, you can still get through. You want to come through? Come on. Sophie. There you are. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at the camera. She's so happy. Alright. That. Okay, the jeans are the most important thing. There they are. Okay, we're gonna leave that for later. I need the thing for the bra. Good, guys? It's time. These go elsewhere. Let's see, how much of a disaster is this? Oh, it's not too bad. Oh no, it's bad. It's terrible. What am I saying? It's the worst thing that ever happened in my life. Hi. Excuse me. Ivy. How is this helpful? Hello? Here, Felix. I've showed off everybody but you and Sammy today. Oh, you're so cute. Love you. Okay. Goodness. open that for now. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now that's closed. Oh. And scene. Alright, so Dale will be home soon. We got some stuff done today, so that's good. What else? I'm uploading a Nancy Drew video right now, waiting for that to go through. So I always have computer stuff to do. And I should really do the Taylor Swift video at some point. We have the dentist tomorrow. To quote Kronk, we'll see how we feel after that. Alright, I think that's it for this evening. Maybe I'll check in later. Hockey! Maybe I'll check in later when I'm up in my room, my office, my space, the purple room. It's the purple room. When I'm up there, maybe I'll check back in. But for now, we gotta figure out dinner and stuff like that. Okay. It's good. So it is a little after 7. Felix is meowing. It is Thursday. We went to the dentist. Everything's pretty good. I wanted to go over to Barnes & Noble and get a new journal since I'm out of the one. I would like to be better at shopping at small local bookstores. For this particular thing, I'm not sure which ones have journals, if any of them have journals, and unfortunately it's late and I don't think any of them would be open. One of the many things I'm trying to get better at is going to small establishments and shopping there. But anyway, so we're gonna head over to Barnes & Noble and then eat probably. There we go. We are back. So we went to Barnes & Noble and I got a journal. It's got all sorts of old editions of the classics on it. I don't know if they're actual editions of the classics, but the art is very pretty. It was wrapped in plastic, so I didn't know if it had lines in it or not. It didn't say so on the tag. And I said to Dale, I said, I don't know if it's got lines and it's in plastic. He said, open it. It was one of those sort of, basically a little bag or envelope that is a sticky adhesive that you can close again. And he said, open it. I said, no, I can't do it. And so I asked the sales clerk, I said, do you happen to know if this book has lines on it? And she said, open it. And so she came out and she was with me. And I said, I felt so illegal doing that. She said, oh, I know, but then how else will you know what you're getting? And so she was very kind and it has lines. So we bought it. And then Dale got 100 breakfast treats or something, basically like baked sweets that you can sort of have in the morning. So bundt cakes and scones and things like that. And he's been wanting that. And we've talked about that because like I like coffee cake and things like that. So it seems like a very good book and will bring lots of nice treats into the house. And before that, like I said, before we went to the dentist, which is a little late. We had gone in June and then we kept having to push it back, so we're not at our 6-month mark, but it's okay. Teeth are fine. I do have to take care of, so I had braces, and when I got my braces removed, I had 2 permanent retainers put in, and so the one is a really small bar that goes across here, and the other one was a longer bar that kind of was supposed to go across this bottom span here. And a few months after I got my braces off, I was walking through Boscov's with my sister and ting, it snapped. And I just kind of froze because it's sharp, you know, it's a metal wire, a thick metal wire. You know how braces are. And I just froze. I'm looking at my sister, said, my brace, my retainer snapped. And so, you know, it was adhered to my teeth with 2 blobs of cement. And so the one had just released itself from my tooth. It didn't take any teeth. It didn't hurt anything. It just came loose, and it was kind of just, you know, whatever. And so we went home, and it was like late. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock, and we weren't sure what to do. So my dad got pliers, you know, good old household wire pliers. And he pulled it. I remember exactly where I was standing. I was older. I was a bit older when I had my braces off. And he plucked the other side off, but I still have, basically he just pulled the wire out of the cement. He didn't actually pull the rest of it off with it. So anyway, I was probably supposed to get that replaced, but I never did. I didn't care to. But the top one has stayed, and some of the skin from the top of my mouth has grown over it. Sorry if that's gross. But it's a little bit of a difficult spot to clean, and the hygienist just said, you know, to try to maybe go in with Listerine and rub it just to kind of get things off. And she gave me a floss threader, but it's just a difficult spot to get. And then we talked about water picks, and I thought about getting a water pick, and I mentioned it to Dale, and so we might look into one of those. I don't know if it can actually replace floss or not. That's the impression that I had in my mind beforehand, but I don't know if that's actually the case. Oh, there was a funny part as my hygienist was just kind of like getting everything ready on the computer. I said, oh, I do have a question. And she said, yes. I said, are you supposed to floss before you brush your teeth or after you brush your teeth? And so she was at the computer kind of like this, working on her thing. And she turned to me and said, well, that's a big controversy. And I started laughing. And she said, I say to do it beforehand. And I said, yeah, that makes sense to me. That's kind of what I was doing, because you get everything loose and then you do, you know, the rest of your clean. And so even though it is quite controversial, she recommends to do it beforehand. So that's another hygienist's opinion. If you've been wondering this, there you go. But anyway, overall the dentist went pretty well. I mean, nobody likes going to the dentist, I don't think, but they're pretty nice there. Dale's been going there for years. It's only my second time going there, but it was pretty good. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm probably gonna wrap up this vlog. This is my first multi-day vlog on this channel, so we're branching out. I don't think I have anything else particularly interesting to tell you. Oh, it's opening day in baseball. I watched the Royals. They played the Twins. They lost 4-1. But the energy of the crowd was really impressive, you know. So that was fun, even though they lost. I like baseball. I like having it on at all times, quite frankly. All right. Well, I will see you next time. I hope that you have a good week. I hope that spring is treating you nicely so far. If you have allergies, I hope they're being kind to you thus far in the season. And I will see you again soon. So long.